A friend of mine at work asked me if I could build a cupcake stand for him and his wife for their wedding coming up. So they want it to be able to hold about 200 cupcakes and then have a 10-inch wedding cake on the top of it. I've never built one before, but I told them I would give it a shot. So the first thing I had to figure out is how big this thing needs to be to hold 200 cupcakes. I just raided my wife's pantry and took a bunch of cupcake holders and laid them out and found out that an 18-inch circle holds about 25 cupcakes. So that was just basically going to be my starting point. So there's lots of different ways to cut your circles. I'm actually using this router jig made by Milescraft. It's pretty handy. It gives me some nice clean circles and I can easily set the dimensions. But you can use a jigsaw, whatever it is you have. And if you're using a jigsaw, just get like a template. And then you can, whatever size your tower ends up being, you just buy that size template and then cut them out. Or you can even just go on Amazon and buy these already cut for you. So by the time I finished all my cuts, I ended up with, I believe, 6 tiers. These are just 4-inch blocks that I'm going to use to separate the tiers. You usually want these about 4 to maybe 5 inches. That way there's enough room for the cupcakes, but you don't want too much room. You want a nice clean look. You basically just want the cupcakes to just kind of fit underneath each level. Yeah, if I don't keep a good eye on my material, then my little helper will take over and show me what I'm doing wrong. So I'm not going to get too fancy, but I do want to create a nice little curve to the center blocks. So I just took a 1-inch mark and then took that paint can, and this way I can create like a nice little edge and just give it a little bit better look than a square block underneath there. The centers aren't going to be that visible, but you want it to look good. I don't own a spindle sander, so I just got a drum sander with a 1/4-inch bit that fits into my router, and then I'm going to use this just to take the edges off of these center pieces. You don't got to sand on them too much, but just give them nice clean edges. So this is definitely not necessary, but I wanted to take the top 10-inch circle that they're going to have their cake on, and I'm just kind of putting a personal touch on it. I'm actually putting their names and then the date of their wedding. But this actually won't even be visible when there's a cake on top of it, so I'm not sure why I did this, but maybe they can pull this off the cake stand when the wedding's done and I don't know, use it as a paperweight or something on their desk. So the colors for their wedding are red and white. So I made sure I covered each circle with a nice white high gloss paint. So conveniently for me, my router jig actually marks a center in the circle whenever I'm spinning it around to cut it out. So what I'm doing here is I'm just finishing that with a drill bit all the way through to the other side. So then I've got a nice mark that I can use to center all of these up. You can see I'm dropping that right inside my center pieces, a little bit of wood glue, and then some 18 gauge finish nails. And then I'm going to start the next level. And I'm lining up the next level to the bottom level. You want to try to get these as close as you can so that when you're standing back looking at your cake stand, it almost looks like it's a full center support that goes all the way up at you. So it's a little bit difficult to flush these up. So you're going to end up with these little gaps in the areas here, as you can see. So I'm just coming back through with some silicone caulking and just cleaning it up. Just drop a little bit on and then come back with a wet rag, wipe off the excess. Once you've gone through and cleaned up each level, then you can come back with a gloss spray paint and just make everything match. So this is one of the final steps here. I went to a local fabric store and got some 7/8 red ribbon, and I'm using hot glue to attach it. When you're working with hot glue, the trick is just work about 4 inches ahead of yourself. Don't get too far ahead. And then just make sure you put it nice and flush. Don't press too hard. You don't want to be able to see your hot glue bead underneath the fabric. Okay, so that's it. That's the completed cupcake stand. Wish I had a picture of it in its full glory, but the wedding is still a month away, so we won't have that. But it cost me probably about $40 to make. If you try to buy one online, they're a couple $100s. So take your time, do it yourself. Wasn't too hard. I'm a pretty much a novice, so if I can do it, I'm sure you can too. Leave some comments, questions if there's something I missed. Hope you liked it.